All right. Hello, Internet. You are here with The Circus is Coming. My name is Sam,
I'm Pete.
and we are going to bring you episode 13 of 14 here today, where we are fighting the frenzied mob.
That's right. It's going to be hard to sell this one as having any suspense because the pro circus has been absolutely dominant in this series. I'm not going to lie, Internet. I think we're looking at 10 games to 2 so far. Is that right, Sam?
I think so, yeah. It's been a bit messy. But you know what? They're in it with a chance because it doesn't matter until the end.
And really, it's for the love of the game, right?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure that will comfort them as we go.
I'm sure wargamers are not going to get hung up on who's winning and who's losing.
Yeah. No, that's certainly no competition at all in here.
So as you can see, we've got our beautiful table, again sculpted by Ben Squig, supporting contributions by Sean, Will, and Jamie.
What you're seeing now, as we're zooming between the cameras, we've got very busy streets, and we've got, of course, amazingly painted buildings. You want to go into the scenario here? So we mentioned the frenzied mob.
That's right. So this is a scenario where there is 4 buildings located in and around the center of the table. When a friendly character gets within, I believe it's 8 inches. Yeah, that's right, 8 inches of building, it triggers the frenzied mob, causing a D3+1 frenzied villagers to appear outside of the building, no closer than 5 inches to the warrior that triggered them. The frenzied mob will then move and attack in turns following that. We'll get into a little bit more detail once that actually starts to happen. But yeah, 4 buildings, each of which are protected by a mob. The game carries on until one warband's rout. And in order to gain sort of bonus experience, if a hero remains within a building doing literally nothing for their entire turn, they're able to loot it, ransacking all the drawers and chests and tables, stealing all their antique collectibles,
all the good stuff,
all the Mordheim rulebooks that are left over in that house. Yeah.
And you can see the main 3 buildings there in the middle that we're looking at: the white, the blue, the orange, and the purple, which will come in and out of focus as we zip between cameras during the game. We're also going to kind of zoom in on some of the combats, because of course one of the amazing things about a Mordheim campaign is you get these characters developing. Or dying, as is the case for a couple of the warbands. But so you get these enmities forming, you get competition, and you get some really amazing stuff coming out as the characters level up. So we're going to flick between that.
Yeah, I think on that, Sean, did you check your old battle wounds before the game started? You did? Johan the Large is on board for the battle, we've been told. He's hobbled in.
Yeah, awesome.
Poor guy, he's got weak knees at his age.
So we're heading into turn 1 right now. The guys are rolling off. And
sadly, no random happenings for this turn. No. Continuing our streak. How many rolls are we going to get through?
I don't know, we don't get enough random happenings. We are, of course, playing with the Mordheim, where we roll for random happenings every turn, because any other version is boring. Just a snooze fest.
That's definitely one perspective on it.
Skeletons appear once and then stop appearing. That's not Mordheim. Let's just get skeletons one turn, bloodthirster the next. Bloodletter. There's a slip of the tongue. Bloodthirster, yeah, let's bring it.
There is
that's episode 14, right?
Again,
a plague father
there are multiple
of Nurgle.
Perspectives on increasing the probability of a bloodthirster of corn appearing on the table.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Well, just the itsy bitsy spider can end a warband, can't he?
Look, I must say I do enjoy the extra excitement that the increased probability of random happenings provides.
Absolutely. So we've got in the deployment phase, we've got one of the warbands has appeared next to our white building, and the first frenzied mob has popped up. How many did we roll up, guys? 3. So it's D3+1, and we've got 3 frenzied mob immediately appearing. Hopefully not a challenge for an experienced warband this late in the campaign. I'm building it up now, so when you fail horribly, it's more amusing for the audience. Right, so there's our frenzied mob emerging from the shadows, and beneath the camera right there.
2 people.
Yeah, it was 2 people. There's another one there in the shadow of the building.
Oh yeah, I see him.
Yeah. So directly beneath our camera right now, what you can't see, well, you can see the shadow of a weapon. We've got a massive walkway upon which we've got mostly Will's warband, which is the Marienburgers, the Merchant Venture, of which none of the original members are actually competing in this game.
That's right. Literally every single original member of the venture has died.
No, there's one still alive.
Oh, I
but
thought he was
he's
killed off in the last game.
No, he's got a chest wound and he's missing this game.
Okay.
Yeah. So, apart from that, we've got everybody else dead, and a whole bunch of replacements coming in, including a new ogre I saw earlier. I feel like I'm commentating a sports game now. We've got a new addition to the team today.
It's alright, we don't need to comment on their jersey numbers just
No.
yet.
What's his name, though? What's the ogre's name? Gorf. Something like that, Gorf. We can bring up...
So
why don't we
Jamie
flick
taking
to
over
the...
his movement now.
Yeah, we'll flick to the warband rosters, because we do have the warband rosters, and we'll just flick through them one at a time here, and you can always pause them at your leisure at home. So we'll just scroll through it. We'll come back to it now and then during the game. So this is Sean's warband. Yeah, this is our revolting Bretonian peasants who've stood up for themselves and come into Mordheim, said we want some, and they're not going to get some. And now we've got Ben's warband. So this is the Ostlanders, the Vikings, who like the shiny things.
Discovered a new love for Vikings recently. I think they're a really cool warband. Lots
Yep.
of character.
Yep. Some great minis as well, which I'm sure you see if you're following the campaign. William's warband, the Marienburgers, the Merchant Venture.
Got to respect a man who handwrites his warband roster in this
You
day and
do,
age,
you
don't
do.
you?
Although the aquamarine pen is a bit concerning for me. Oh, we got Jamie's warband, the Avalanders.
Oh,
Sons of the Empire here. And we can see some of the comments that have
some
evolved over the
complicated
campaign.
handwriting going on there.
It is. But some of the comments, so we've got some hatreds evolving. This is Hates Grinson for one of the other warbands. You can see
I like the arrows pointing to wide open spaces on this character sheet as well. Why didn't he just write it in the space that was there? We'll never know, but these are the questions that will haunt us long after the campaign has ended.
You can see the plethora of lucky charms here. A very lucky warband, as most of them have been. We'll flick back now to the battle and have a look at what's going on. So we've got just a bit of movement happening. We're still just wandering around the ruins, trying to find an angle, get a bead on the opponents. Nothing very interesting happening just yet, so it's a good chance for us to have a look at the scenario and have a look at what's happening with the buildings and the setup. So you can see there is a bit of wide open space over here nearest to us, the left-hand side of Jamie deploying now, where we've got some trees, because this does use a border town burning scenario for those playing along at home.
I think what I'm interested in here is whether or not it's better to run forward and try and claim the bonus XP from triggering the frenzied mob buildings, or kind of staking out and occupying positions where you can try and pick off the enemy as they advance towards them. I mean, as we said, there's no this game just goes on and on until all bar one warbands rout, but I guess the buildings do provide a bit of a lure, particularly if you can get the same hero going and clearing out 2 or more buildings. You know, 2 points of XP as a bonus is a really big deal.
Yeah, it is. It's huge, especially with one game to go. This is the last chance for the heroes to really get to the kind of high level of experience they're going to need to be competitive.
I guess from my point of view as well, I'd be using it as an opportunity to try and round out heroes as well. You can be focused in terms of securing those extra XP points because they're guaranteed by going into that building. So if you know you're only kind of 1 or 2 XP check marks away from leveling up your hero, that's probably something you want to try and secure before you move into the final game, get the most out of that hero before you bid farewell to him and put him on a shelf at home, never to be used again.
Yeah, but you can see now the Marienburg, the Merchant Venture of Wills has moved up beneath that walkway. We've got another 3 frenzied mob appearing. So we've revealed 2 of the buildings now, in that the frenzied mob have come out, appearing when we're within 8 inches.
The frenzied mob, as much as I want them to be tremendously terrifying, I've got to say they're not massive. Their weapon skill and ballistic skill 2, strength and toughness 3, initiative 2, 1 attack.
Witch hunter zealots, essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
And they got a club and a torch, so I guess they could burn a treeman. But
look, I guess you know, perhaps one of the considerations and one of the dangers that people need to be wise to, given the shooting that's about to happen, is if you get knocked down and then charged by one of these zealots, you can find yourself in a world of trouble very, very quickly.
You could, yeah, you could. I guess that would be an aim for the other party as well, is just knocking down your opponent and hoping the frenzied mob go and finish them off.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Just going to transition across to camera so we can get a look at some of the shooting action.
There's some shooting up at the frenzied mob. That is a miss. Another shot? Another shot. Excellent. We got a hit. Excellent. The first shot of the game to hit. It's a hit. You missed.
That's harsh but accurate.
Critical wound. Excellent. What are we dealing with here? Is this a gun or a crossbow? Longbow. Excellent.
So, roll it up for me, please. It's a ricochet.
A ricochet.
Other models within 6 inches, the closest enemy model is hit. Roll for a wound and take any saves as normal.
So from the guy up top through the walkway to the guy underneath. A wounds both of them. Excellent. So a wound on the top.
Both of them, Jamie. Do it for the story. Come on, Jamie.
There
Not
we go.
bad.
So
2 with 1 blow. That guy needs a nickname. Stat, Jamie.
The first longbow shot to hit of the game, and we've ricocheted from the fellow upstairs somehow to the fellow underneath him, killing both of them outright. That's a hell of a longbow shot. Maybe we can say fell from the top onto the guy underneath. So both Will and Jamie have brought a wizard with fly, which gives them a lot of versatility. However, in this scenario, a wizard can't search the buildings because he's not a hero.
Right, of course, he's a hireling.
Yeah.
Double 6.
So we got double 6s on both players casting fly.
That would have been
Crazy.
really great if this was regular Warhammer Fantasy Battles 8th edition.
Oh, I know. How would that have been?
Maximum power.
2 miscasts right off the bat. Bang, bang.
I think we need Winds of Magic for our next campaign. Because I got to tell you, this random happenings thing, it's just not doing it for me. Or perhaps, for every turn that a random happening doesn't occur, we add 1 to the dice the next time we roll.
I was a bit over-eager there, but
So
we've got
swapping
now...
over and taking our random happenings roll by Sean.
It's a 6, so... Not quite what we need for a random happening. We've got the...
Sean trolling the hell out of Sam there.
What?
Sean trolling you.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
of
I got a
course.
6.
Oh,
Nothing happens.
yes, in practice. So, now we're moving the Vikings out alongside the revolting Bretonian presence. All of them want to see the circus. The circus is coming to town.
Who doesn't want to see the circus?
Yeah, well,
They've been along, they've seen it, and they've gone, clowns are what's happening right now, guys. We got to get in on these clowns.
Yeah. But with a little more pestilent rot. Yeah, so, again, of course, we're within 8 inches, so we have another frenzied mob emerging from this building.
I guess one of the other considerations, though, with the frenzied mob is that they're food, basically. These are some pretty well-developed warbands at this point, and, you know, weapon skill 2 and... here comes a charge, I should say. Weapon skill 2 and toughness 3 models, you know, they really are pretty easy to overpower quickly if you bring in a superior force.
They
like
are,
this.
yeah. Again, the real only danger for them is if you're knocked down, or if you're getting stunned or something from fire, and then you get charged by them.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, things could always go pear-shaped, obviously, a bunch of 1s versus a bunch of 6s, but odds are you're gonna be okay at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah. So looking down from the top now, you can see where we've got the pro Circus warbands at the top near our little Mordheim sign.
Yep, that's camera.
And so what we can see there is them moving out, and on the bottom there you can see the couple of walkways occupied by the anti-circus as they move in. And now we've revealed three now of the 4 buildings. The frenzied mob have emerged and are coming for blood. Wait, so ballistic skill 6 with a quick shot crossbow. Right, okay. Who's this that we're looking at? Do we have a name for... One-eyed Clement. Okay. But ballistic skill 6. Fantastic.
Strangely, his accuracy improved after that.
Yeah. Let's bring it over. So, why don't we bring it over here? We'll fade it over. One-eyed Clement. Indeed. Packing a lucky charm.
Never leave home without it.
Yeah, formerly cross-eyed Clement. Excellent.
Not lucky enough with only 1 charm. Needs 2.
So we can see moving out there.
I know that 2 don't work, rules boffins. Can hear the internet seething at me from here.
Just in general, just not anything specific, just general internet seethe.
So transitioning across to the shooting phase now.
Indeed, indeed. So
who's cross-eyed Clement shooting at?
okay,
So
we're
he
gonna
scores a hit,
hit on the frenzied mob.
and it's a wound against the frenzied mob.
So 2 shots, 2 hits, no wounds.
Say a faulty crossbow right there.
You know, he can hit, but no one said he's cross-eyed, I don't know, damaging Clement.
Definitely not.
Critical hit. And another ricochet.
Bravo. Another ricochet.
Showing Clement how it's done.
Okay, bounce fails to do anything. And
Knocks him
face
down.
up.
Knocks him down.
There's a wound off that shot. It's unfortunate.
But
because
2
I
knockdown.
believe their movement phase is going to be coming up next. They're being the frenzied mob, so they're just going to shrug this off, basically.
But at least they're not going to get a charge, because
No, that's true.
it'd be the only real way to danger them, for them to be dangerous, is to get a charge on a warband this experienced.
Fellas, who's making decisions as to who the frenzied mobs charge? I mean, obviously they've got psychology rules. Just nearest model all the time. But what if there's 2 nearest models? The most near full.
We got a very long shot, but out of range.
I quite like this shot for shooting.
A bit optimistic. Yeah.
Is that shooting phase wrapped up now, I think? Yeah, close combat phase kicks off. Great.
You can see some camera work taking place. That's what's happening.
This is where the magic happens, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram, which I'm told is a thing that people do now. I don't know.
We can see the wizard occupying the tower here. At the end of turn 1, as we go into turn 2. Okay, so now we're moving the frenzied mob at the end of turn 1, moving into turn 2. You can see our interactive turn counter has incremented by 1.
That's right. The progress from our first attempt at recording when we were
Absolutely.
incapable of even being heard to now is astounding.
It is. We've come a very long way.
So Sean's declaring charges at the start of his turn.
Excellent.
We're going to try and transition and... oh, of course,
Frenzied
Frenzied
Mob
Mob
charge.
before
Frenzied
we...
Mob,
yeah, at the end of turn 1 / the beginning of turn 2. I guess
Absolutely.
between turns is
Yeah.
going to
They're getting
be a
into it.
helpful way to think about that for me. Now the Frenzied Mobs... The Frenzied Mobs are able to... Normally they're only able to move within 5 inches of the building that they emerge from, but when they charge, for the purposes of that charge, they can go further away, and then if they survive or their target gets away, they return back to within 5. Kind of reinforces that whole dedicated defender role that they're meant to be playing in this scenario.
And when we say frenzied, we mean very frenzied, because they have just charged the Ogre, the new addition to Will's Warband, Gorf.
Good luck to them, is all I have to say to that.
Gorf, the randomly named, I think
that's
we'll
a
call
smart move in terms of drawing that charge with the Ogre. Was that intentional, Will? Yeah, it was intentional. Yeah, that's right. You know, better to use the hireling to draw that off, and obviously the Ogre's got multiple wounds, so there's a really good chance. Yeah, very cheap, good chance he'll survive. Yeah, this is a smart play, I think.
So we have a lovely view through the building here of Will's Warband, and the Ogre facing down the most frenzied of mobs. So the frenzied mob attacking first, Mordheim of course, you charge, you attack first.
That's right, and does that Ogre, I can't quite see from here, I think he's a great weapon anyway, so he'd be going...
I think it's actually proxy, just 2
oh,
weapons.
it's proxy, okay, it's 2 hand weapons.
It's a cool model, So hit by the flaming torch, the frenzied mob puts a stick into the Ogre. So we've got hits but no wounds so far.
They count as being armed with a club and a flaming torch.
A critical hit by the frenzied mob.
The Ogre's taken 2 wounds.
A club critical. So this is a club critical on the Ogre.
Bludgeoning weapon 6, bludgeon. The victim automatically goes out of action. Oh,
But
it's
a 5.
Wild sweep. Your opponent's weapon is knocked from his hand. If he's carrying 2 weapons, roll to see which one he loses.
And over to the other side.
And over here, we have another Ogre being beaten up by another frenzied mob.
So both Ogres are being attacked. This one's now lost 2 wounds.
Yeah,
this is
Sean...
Jamie's Ogre. So Sean's Ogre.
The Ogre scores 2 counterattacks.
2 wounds. Frenzied mob. Knocks them both down. That's alright, he can finish them off in his turn now. Now, Will's Ogre has stunned his opponent and killed another. I killed the same man. Killed and stunned him. Stunned him to death.
It's definitely not confusing at all to have 2 different Ogres engaged in 2 different mobs
No,
at the same
absolutely
time.
not. No. So one at the end there, Sean's Ogre lost 2 wounds and knocked down both his opponent, and Will's Ogre killed his opponent. Took 1 wound.
We've got our first random happening.
We do.
At the start of turn 2.
Fantastic. Good fun.
So now that we've rolled a 1 and triggered it, we're going to check and see what happens.
D66. Okay, so the green is a 10, and we're rolling for our random happening. 41.
Just consulting the book on random happenings.
Ah, we have a fountain of blood. So our fountain of blood, essentially whenever a model is taken out of action in close combat, it's like one of those
geyser of blood.
Yeah, a geyser of blood just explodes out, and knocks everyone else down if they fail a strength test.
Yeah.
So when you take someone out of action, strength test or be knocked down, which is going to make multi-combat punishing. And suddenly those frenzied mob are really scary, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because even if you kill one, you're
really
knocked down.
Point.
Yeah.
Fountain of Blood is a very interesting thing to come into play during a scenario like this, where you have lots of mooks that are going to throw themselves at you, ready to be slaughtered.
Yeah. So anyone who takes somebody else out of action, strength test, knocked to the ground. So if you happen to have been charged by 2 of the frenzied mob, and you kill one, you can be knocked down by the other.
Yeah, and 2 more frenzied mob appear.
And this is the last of our frenzied mob to appear. 1 more?
We've had 3 out of 4
No,
buildings.
3. Yeah, the last of the frenzied mob. So all the buildings are now emptied of their denizens, eager and excited about the circus coming.
But just finishing your point from before about the frenzied mob and the fountain of blood, I think you're right, because of the very strange kind of turn interaction that you get with the frenzied mob, where they essentially act as a third party. So you can You can be knocked down for a very long time before you have a chance to recover yourself
Can be, yeah.
from that strength test.
Yeah. It's going to lead to this game developing a little bit differently, actually, which is nice. It's a good thing around random happenings. So we've got a bit of movement happening, running across the rooftops. Remember that the heroes have to be searching the buildings, and no one else has the opportunity to do so. And you can see there, as the Marienburgers run across the ramps, we get a lovely little view. So those are our four main buildings there. You can see in the foreground the orange building, to its left the blue, to the right the white. Sorry, to the left the purple, and in the background the blue there. So those are our four buildings that must be searched. Yes, there we go. Thank you. Lovely. And we've got some big grinning faces appearing.
Jamie in the background there. He's a handsome man, isn't he? Look at that beard.
A little bit of trivia that he stores miniatures in the beard. And we're cutting now. We can see that some of the lovely tents and the Marienburgers there. The very depleted warband. I think half the warband rating of anybody else present, at best.
But they're big in spirit. You know, they're a motivated lot.
I'm not so sure they would be. Their leaders decided to sit this one out.
Can-do attitude.
Their boss is having a sick day. The merchant, the only remaining member, is having a sick day. And so all the more recent hirelings are out and about.
Oh, it's true. The wheel's now done. Just getting ready, waiting for Jamie to finish his last couple of movements. What I'm excited for is another round of spellcasting from the wizards. I want to see some more flying. I want to see people jumping, thinking they can fly.
Believing even.
All the things that make Mordheim... That's why you fail, Will. The fact that you don't leap until you know flight has already worked. Yeah. That's your first mistake right there.
Yeah.
You gotta get skaven about this, mate.
You gotta go watch the end of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon again.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
That was an odd way for the movie to end. Hey, let's just jump off a dam. Sorry, spoilers.
Spoilers for a 20-year-old movie.
Yeah. So we got some shooting taking place. But we can flick to the other side of the board for a moment. You can have a look at those Vikings. So we're trying now to take out a blunderbuss before it can fire. Blunderbuss are horrible weapons.
It's a miss, unfortunately, on that shot.
Missed. You got to take out that blunderbuss.
Is it a hit or a cocked dice? There was a hesitation there, gents.
So this is the shot. Will's guy sniping through the building. He misses. Oh, he rolled a 1. He rolled a 1. That's just disappointing.
Well, it depends whose side you're on. Does the fountain of blood occur even if you shoot him down?
Is it only in combat? Yeah, close combat. Close combat
only in close combat.
Yeah.
I was going to think that could be a bit of a hazard for tightly packed models there, but... I really like the Fountain of Blood. It's essentially high gore mode for Mordheim.
It is, yeah. Or kind of like icy floors suddenly. Everyone's slipping and sliding.
Jamie calling his shots, needs a 4 or better to hit.
1.
Fails.
So it's not a hit. It's not a hit. Makes for great commentating when we're just missing all the time.
All the time. Makes me long for the days of unreliable black powder weapons.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Now Mordheim as well, I think we mentioned before, of course, you can only shoot at the closest model unless you're elevated. It helps to have a reminder with all these other additions.
Jamie calls his shot, scores a hit.
Hit from across the board. And now Will also calling his shots in the background against Sean there. We had a critical wound. Another critical wound. Is this the same longbowman? Different longbowman. So he's got a critical, he's ignored the save. And he's got a 6. Hell of a shot. Taking out one of the Vikings. An important Viking? Not an important Viking.
Jamie just trying to calculate whether or not he scores a hit. Unfortunately, he just misses out.
Flying. So we are flying. Ooh.
It's hard to tell what's there. 6 and a something or another.
6, an 8 on the yellow, and a 7 on the greeny black. So both casting and both wizards jet setting their way across the board again.
I believe I can.
So I shouldn't sing that, should I? It's copyrightable.
That's right. What I like about the wizards is they're flying and they're securing improved position, but they don't necessarily have like the follow-up to this maneuvering. You know, they're brand new wizards. Like, phase 1 is to get into position through use of the flight spell. Phase 2 is to ...
Yeah. Do these wizards have any other spells? There's the fear spell to make people run. So they're just flying around and making people run away, which I guess is kind of cool in a way. Kind of doing the Batman thing, just flying from building to building, going, "Oi!"
It's a very succinct summary of Batman.
Getting a lovely shot here of some of the verticality we've got on the board.
I gotta say, there's a fantastic shot of the scenery there, and we've got another one queued up as well that we'll transition to when it's appropriate.
Yeah. So we're into combat. Lovely.
That's right. That's what the fella's called.
Melee combat with the fountains of blood. So fighting the frenzied mob.
Will misses at weapon skill 5. Shh, he says.
Yeah. Was this the ogre missing? Alright, so Will Swordsman misses, and the frenzied mob fails to do anything.
Jamie scores 2 hits.
On the frenzied mob.
Outstanding.
Yeah. A wound on the frenzied mob.
Damn.
Take out the crazy people. Down and out. Now, and he explodes into blood, making a strength check. Yeah.
Equal to or less than your strength, and you pass.
He passes, unfortunately. Just
right.
for the sake of commentary, of course. So he pierces the frenzied mob, who just explodes like a balloon.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh, of course. That's why he wasn't knocked over. Yeah. All right. So we're switching over now to the turn of the Pro Circus. And no random happening there. That's a 5. Oops, bit of shaky camera. Back we come.
Now, Will, did you successfully search the building with your hero as planned? That's unfortunate. Jamie has successfully executed, so we should mark that in some way. That building has now been searched.
So that's our white building.
Been looted for classic vinyls and various other high-quality goods.
Yeah. Classic vinyls. Yeah, a lot of those.
It's Mordheim. They're a primitive people.
They were dropped by the Warpstone meteorite.
That's right.
It brought with it some Pat Benatar.
Well, that used to be the case in Warhammer Fantasy. I think in the old days it was possible for Khorne to sort of time warp complex arcane talismans that looked exactly like bolt guns from Warhammer 40,000.
Yes.
Back for his followers to use.
Yeah. Back when you could only make one kind of blood leather.
Yeah, the best kind. It was called a blood letter.
A blood letter. Okay. And now we're seeing some movement happening. A bit of movement here and there. And a nice little view of, again, of our railings, of running across. A Mordheim game needs verticality, doesn't it? You have to have it.
Well, it does. It adds to sort of it makes you feel alive knowing that those preciously painted and assembled models could at any point fall onto the table and shatter into a million pieces.
It turns every cat in the room into a critical level threat.
A roaming hazard of epic proportions. They are asking to get shot, Ben. That's a canny observation. And we support them in their endeavours.
Yes. In
the name of good online content. Both. We're down for whatever.
And here we have both warbands. We've got the Vikings off to the right-hand side, and the Bretonnian revolters off to the left, with the ogre in the middle. Now lost 2 wounds. Making an ogre quite delicate now.
Yeah, I was going to say toughness 4 and 1 wound is far from ogre-like in
No.
stature. They really did a number on him.
But still the attacks and the strength to punish aggressors.
Yeah, that's right. He's a bit of a glass cannon, but, you know, we'll see how this plays out for him. He is just a hireling at the end of the day.
He is. He can't even search the building, so... Now, Ben's Wizard has the excellent spell that we never saw last game, where he can demolish a building, which would make it very hard to search.
What's the house rule on Ben demolishing a building before it's been searched, guys? Does it make it impossible for someone to get XP from it? I feel like it should. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? We'll see who searches it, says Will. Wants to keep his options open depending on whether it's going to favour him or not.
We've lost the camera, but at least it wasn't the one above.
It wasn't live.
Well, good to keep going.
You
can get a bit
my
of an
personal
insight into
favourite are
our
these top-down
setup.
views for the movement phases, I think.
They are good, and shooting. They give us a good view.
I like
of what's
bringing it
happening.
in for the flavour shots, but
Yeah.
it's just something about it. I just appreciate the bird's eye view like this. It's great, and you never actually get at what, even while you're playing. You know,
No,
you
that's
can move
true,
around,
that's true.
but you can never really just take in the whole board like this.
It does always struggle though when we've got the multiple levels of a building.
Yeah, that's true. Don't have any sense at all of how deep or how tall some of these things
Yeah,
are.
well,
do you?
we've got a good one now here. I'll flick over to this one. Get a sense here of the Vikings running across the various scaffolding, approaching building orange.
Okay, moving into the shooting phase. Sean, are you taking the first shot? Crossbow. Crossbowman wearing a hat? Yeah.
Lovely. Very nice. A long shot. Is this
Sneaky pre-measure from Sean
is
there.
this Clement? Is this One-Eyed Clement? One-Eyed Clement, BS5. Off we go. That's a miss. A hit with the second shot.
Strength 4 from a crossbow, yep, that's right, scores a wound. And Jamie charms it away. Boo! What an item.
Here's the actual One-Eyed Clement in person.
Sean takes his second shot. Scores a hit because he's only... Oh, there's some uncertainty here from Sean. Is he Ballistic Skill 4 or 5? Oh, he's BS2.
BS2.
He's not Ballistic Skill 4 or 5. He's much worse. Completely misses. In Sean's defense, numbers can be hard sometimes.
They can be, yeah.
Ben scores a hit. This is why they're... Sean, the cautionary tale, encouraging, caution from Ben.
But never mind, it was a miss. Because of the negs for moving.
Sean attempting to sprint forward and fire a blunderbuss in blatant contravention of the rules. Ben scores
We've
a
got a
critical hit.
A critical
Nice.
wound.
No
armor
armor.
save.
Takes him out. Good job, Ben. You did it.
Kills the frenzied mob. So Ben poaching a kill from the wizard. He wanted to
That
unleash
is
his
one
arrow
way to
spell.
describe what happened. Sean and Ben just trying to determine what the best order for their shooting is.
And also making a
Ben
very
really threading that shot through there.
yeah, a very ginger measurement through the various buildings.
Ben scores a hit.
Hit some wounds to halfling. and knocks him down.
Is that the charm triggered there, Jamie, or has he already expended it?
Just the henchman.
Oh, just the henchman, no charm.
So, an initiative test to be knocked off the rail. Yep.
He's got this.
He's cocked this. But he's fine. Halfling keeping his canny feet.
Initiative 4, I think, is the base stat on Halfling, yeah.
Lovely.
Nimble little guys.
Toughness 2, so...
Yeah, would have made a bit of a splat, potentially.
Yeah. And there is the victim.
Sean, are you going to try and silver arrows yet? He's really struggling to select a target here. Sadly, target number 1 was wiped off the board by Ben.
Oh, well. You know, we're still early on in the game.
It feels that Sean was out of range anyway, so that's why he took him off the table. Sean, ever the optimist. We'll never know now. Unless someone wants to take this video, post it on Reddit and see
so
if
this is the big
analyze
one.
the distances for us.
Hang on, can we turn over to our dice view on the Mordheim? Because we're casting Earth Shudder to take down the white building. Can we destroy
Man,
the White
I
House?
really want this to happen. He does it!
Down it goes!
Outstanding.
So, Earth Shudder by the Viking
Successfully
priest
cast.
has destroyed the white building.
This is going to cause untold damage. So they take hits as though they'd fallen from that height, I believe.
Yep, and then we're going to have to replace the building in its entirety with a piece of rubble. It, perhaps... Perhaps if that doesn't affect any combat, we can do it during our intermission at the end of the turn. And come back to a destroyed building after.
Sam, I thought it was a good idea.
Yes, I'm glad someone heard me.
I think they're just so excited to blow up the building that the rest of the world may as well not exist.
That was unfortunately friendly fire from Ben on one of the peasants.
In Ben's defense, Sean earned it. You know, he deserved what happened.
He was standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. Which is as good a reason
There
as
was
any
never
in
any
Mordheim.
doubt that Ben was going to try and blow up that building. It was all subtext, of course, but...
Luckily, the Lucky Charms protect you from
Against
falling
buildings.
from a collapsing building. Oh, it got me right in the Bible.
There really is no end to what those items can do, is there?
3 tons of rubble.
Jamie's hero
So,
is taken out.
A halberdier henchman, I think. One of those brutal henchmen
sorry.
we were looking at last game.
It was a halberdier, you're right, not a hero.
Another wound.
Face down. This face down is potentially really bad news for Jamie.
With the frenzied mob taking the next turn as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a sense, Sam. I'm looking at the overhead view. Are you able to tell whether or not there are any frenzied mobs within range that are going to come through and clean him up? It's a little hard to tell with all the...
Yeah, it is.
There certainly are a lot of heroes there. I suspect that being knocked face down at this point in the game could be really bad for that hero.
We can see the building, off it goes, and replaced by some pre-prepared rubble. Ben having this ready just for when he finally destroys a building.
Ben has 6 of these ready, Sam. He wants to blow them all up.
So, was that the building that had already been searched? Yes. Oh, good. So we've dodged that problem entirely.
The guy's working well to resolve a pretty complicated interaction there with good grace. Not getting too hung up on precise locations of models and so on beforehand.
So we've gone from a
Just
nice
good
cool building.
sportsman.
It is good sportsmanship. We've gone from a nice tall building in the middle now to a crater with ladders just falling down into it. Combat, of course, we can't forget the fountains of blood.
One attack at strength 4 with the Warhound.
Very nasty. A great purchase.
Wounds.
Crushing blow from the jaws of the Warhound.
Sean accepting that unfortunate roll with good grace.
Yeah, the crushing bite of a Warhound, just knocking someone to the ground. Grab him by the leg and shake. That's how we do it.
Sean, we have a box of coloured dice over here if you really need one. Sean's scoring 2 wounds at strength 3.
Out of action, so that's another explosion of blood. If we're doing nothing else today, we can remind them.
This is all you, mate. I think you deserve all the credit. You're single-handedly keeping this event on track.
Keeping the blood flowing.
Suspiciously, all the people who stand to lose models from it keep forgetting that.
I know.
Anyone who's adjacent to the model that was taken out
is the remains of the building. We can see the ogre in combat with a frenzied mob. One stunned Avalander on the ground. And now it's time for the frenzied mob.
Now we can do the frenzied mob now, or we can... Yeah, they're going to push on with it.
No, we're still in combat. We'll get to them in a minute.
Oh, there's more to resolve before we push on to the frenzied mob.
Just jumping all over the place here.
I think... I mean, they're frenzied because they're protecting their house. You've blown it up. Surely there's some, super frenzy that we could put into play now. Double frenzy.
Yeah.
They get hatred as well as frenzy, even though they're immune to psychology.
Yeah.
These are the questions that keep me up at night, Sam.
Is there any kind of extra frenzy you can experience?
Super frenzy.
Super frenzy. The frenzy of kings, they call it. We'll flick to our stylish view, seeing both camera-in-camera versions. We got frenzied mob all over the place here.
Ben scores 2 hits, 0 wounds.
0 wounds, 2 hits, 0 wounds.
And I think Sean and Will are getting ready to resolve. Yep. Will scores 2 hits.
With the ogre on the frenzied mob. 2 criticals of a bludgeoning weapon.
Is it a bludgeoning weapon?
Bludgeoning weapon.
That's instant knockout on a 6.
6 is instant death.
Bludgeon. The victim automatically goes out of
blood.
action if he fails his armor save. Do you have an armor save?
Frenzied
Probably
mob
not from a...
Not from an ogre with
I was
a
going to say,
giant
yeah.
club. No. No. But now the explosion of blood.
Equal to or less than?
Ogre passes and kicks his feet.
Well done, Ogre.
But he squishes the frenzied mob in a shower of blood. Always good fun.
Triggering a shower of blood.
Yes, yes.
He's got it both ways.
Turn 2. Alright. We are into turn 3 and we have dropped the dice for the random happening.
Now remember, don't press enter here as you're updating the number. Good job, we didn't blow up the recording suite.
I didn't kill everybody.
Proud of you, man.
I did it. Now on turn 3.
Now, have we done a random happenings for the start of this turn?
We did.
No double random happenings?
We'll miss the table with a dice. It's always a special achievement to miss the table with 1 dice.
I mean, the table is
can't
enormous
speak. I can't
relative to
speak.
the dice.
I'm the kind of person who hits the roof with dice every 3rd roll. I get a little too into my rolls. Yeah.
I refuse to believe it.
You know the flick you sometimes do of the dice?
Yeah.
I do that occasionally,
that flick,
and I get a bit too into it and just catch it on a finger and launch the dice fanward. Right into a ceiling fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah. So we're in the movement phase now, so that's why we're talking, because it's kind of always a boring phase. There's some interesting stuff happening, but
I think we're going to start to see the rubber hitting the road a little bit here in terms of this game.
yeah.
People have started to take a few losses, a couple more, and we're going to be looking at route checks soon enough.
That's true, and we're going to get to combat very soon.
Absolutely, and there's lots of unstructured sort of deployment and combat going on in the ruins of that building down there, so depending on how that goes, I mean, it's all luck of the dice to some extent, because Ben, by taking out that building, he sort of destroyed all the tactical deployment that was in place. You know, people having to respond to the fact that he's taken out that piece of terrain. I know that intellectually everyone knew Ben could blow up that building, but I think on some level no one actually really planned through what would happen when he did blow up the building. But I for one hope he does it again. And I know Sam's taking a short mic break here, but I know he agrees with me here. Sam, you're pro building destruction, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So still moving up, trying to get a good bead on the other side now.
Yeah, we had a slight technical issue there. Still working the kinks out, but all of our cameras are back up online, which is good.
Yeah. So the blue,
so
the blue
Ben
building.
calling his shot.
The blue building you can see.
Major League Baseball style points to the
the tall building there is going down next. It's going to be a bit of a journey for the wizard, isn't it? No. Oh, that's the wizard with the spell?
If a wizard
that's all right. That's
in effect,
that's doable.
as the building
Absolutely.
gets blown up.
That's style.
It's commitment.
It is.
Commitment
yeah.
to purpose.
Yeah. I'm picturing more of a superhero landing than a Legolas dancing across falling rubble. You know, a good solid superhero landing for the Viking.
Ben, stop talking about the Master System. You're dating us horribly, buddy. They'll know we're old.
I was there, Gandalf, 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, micro machines were cool. I miss them. Jamie's calling shooting phase. Ben's into it. Will calls a shot, quick shot, and a trick shot.
A trick shot and a quick shot. A quick trick shot.
Like it.
How about this for a view of that battlefield? That halfling there.
This is good.
Firing off his. We're looking at a longbow with the halfling. Just a normal bow. A longbow too big for the halfling. Too big. Here we go. Twang. He misses. Ruining all the build-up we're giving the halfling here.
We may be guilty of overhyping a halfling firing a bow.
You know, it's fun of a 40k battle report when you're shooting a whole squad and something's going to hit. But in Mordheim, when you've got a shot and he misses, and then another shot and they miss,
yeah,
it makes
spotlight on that guy. It really does just make you feel rotten, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you know what I'm really trying to do is give us excuses for the quality of this commentating when everyone's just missing all the time. Yep, so another miss.
I think our audience will be forgiving. They've all been there. They know what it's like.
Yeah, I just hope they're captive enough that they're not going to go away. So Will listing all the advantages.
Will lists half the abilities in the book. Ballistic skill 2.
Let's just confirm his cheating to make sure we're looking at the right thing here.
Well, I don't know if cheating is the word I'd use. Maybe for Sean, but not for Will. At this point, I'm prepared to give Will the benefit of the doubt.
So where are we looking? Here is Youngblood.
Yeah, Youngblood with quick shot, trick shot, and
quick shot, trick shot, eagle eyes, and weapon training in missiles.
But ballistic skill 2.
Ballistic skill 2.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Weapon skill 3 even, but rubbish ballistic skills. So that's fun.
What are you gonna do, man? Sometimes you just can't get that ballistic skill increase.
No, you can't. Yeah.
Jamie, uncharacteristically unlucky here. It's what the audience has come to expect from you, Jamie. You're feeling the pressure by not being lucky, and you
He's
dice
used
roll
up all
this
the
time around.
charms.
He's used up all his
That
lucky
collapsing
charms,
building
it's true.
destroyed all the lucky charms.
I guess he did kill 2 people with 1 shot earlier in the game,
He did.
so
Here
maybe we can give him the benefit of the doubt here too.
And here's a shot of those terrifying halberdiers he's got. Packing far too many attacks and far too much strength.
Multiple attacks, ridiculous strength.
Uh,
Love it.
so now we're shooting.
Will makes it funny. This kid's got moves. Look out. Completely tone deaf to how upset Ben was by that shot being made.
So that
decides to taunt him a little bit more.
So that was the wizard knocked down. The wizard.
Well, I commend you, sir. Of course, one of the problems with making
the
fun
priest,
of Ben
wizard
is
who destroys the buildings, knocked to the ground. Priest of Tal. Is it a priest of Tal for a Viking, or do you have a different god? Who's the god of no buildings? Oh.
There's more than one type of Viking, man.
More than one type of Viking.
Yeah.
You know, I think historically you'd find that maybe there's not.
Look, I don't know a lot about this, but I've seen 3.5 seasons of Vikings on Netflix, and I'm telling you, man, there's more than one type of Viking.
See, I've only played Expeditions Vikings, which is a good game. Not what I'm advertising.
Well, look, I think we're both.
I think that makes between us that amounts to about a quarter of an expert.
Yeah, we've basically got this covered.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're ignoring the game, but
Jamie scores a critical hit,
and a ricochet. Yeah, while we're discussing.
Is there someone to bounce to? Looks like there is. Scores a wound on the ricochet, Jamie. That was a wound on the ricochet shot. Great.
Stephanie, that's a Viking name.
Takes her out.
Takes her out of action with a critical ricochet.
I guess Jamie has come back strong after I mocked him earlier for being not lucky enough with his shooting.
So
Ben's
got the casualties
characteristic
mounting.
good grace. Not taking the game too seriously.
Now,
Gotta respect that.
Now, can we do a route check? Ben, 2 more? 2 more for Ben before we're routing. 2 more for Sean. Will is unblooded. But how many do you have to lose before you rout?
1.
So,
Party of 4. Nice.
And Jamie's lost 1 and has to lose 3 more, whereas Will has to lose 4 more. So the anti-circus has a bit of an advantage at this point. Sorry, correction by Sean, we actually need 3 more there. So Ben on the weaker side of things. I think people didn't appreciate losing the building.
I appreciated losing the
I
building.
appreciated it, yes. The fly phase.
Fly phase.
The fly phase. So 1 wizard flying, but 1 failing. I can show you
They've
the
exerted a
world.
real influence over this game so far.
Again, I'm not in tune, so it doesn't count as copyright infringement. So now there's 2 buildings equally targetable by the wizard for collapsing onto another wizard.
That's a shooting attack.
Random happenings. So now, we're doing some charging. Flick back to the top.
Sean calls a charge against the ogre. I assume there's no issue with the fear there, Sean? No, if you cause fear, you're immune to fear, sorry. Guy's getting really excited as they try and measure and move those models in there. You'll have to wait till Ben's next shooting phase before you smash another building down, gents. Thank you to Sam for seamlessly reorganizing a camera shot for us while all of this is going on.
I'm back, just doing some camera organization.
Much appreciated. Ben and Sean calling their charges.
So we're finally into combat between the two warbands now, having fought some of the peasants, the frenzied mob for a while.
You gotta be careful with peasants, man. Sean's entire warband is comprised of peasants.
That's true, that's true.
Emancipated. Excuse me, they're no longer peasants, they're free persons.
Free person.
Also emaciated, that's true.
Emaciated, emancipated. Exasperated, perhaps.
I mean, who gets out from tyrannical rule by Bretonnian despots and then is like, you know what? Let's go to Mordheim.
Yeah. Well, go to see the circus.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So this is the second to last game of this season, Sam.
It is.
Any thoughts on what you would go with as you're making a new warband?
As I'm making a new warband, well, I am currently planning a Cathayan warband. Cathayan, yep. I want to do a bit like Will's actually, a merchant venture from a noble family of Cathay.
In Cathay, sure. Will strongly advises against basing his warband on his own.
No. Yeah, I do like the idea of playing up a big noble family with all the intricacies and the interplay of complicated politics.
That sounds cool. Look, crossing back over to the game.
Of course.
Sean scores 2 hits and a wound and takes one of Jamie's models out of action.
Also, One-Eyed Clement again has finally sniped somebody with that wicked crossbow.
He gets a bit of press, but I suspect that could be just because it's a hero whose name we've managed to remember at this point.
It could be, yeah, it could be. I have written down some other heroes, so we have. Some of them have died. I recorded Stephania. Stephania was a brutal close combat, but has already been knocked out of this one.
Six on a critical is a master shot, hits an eye, the throat, or some other vulnerable part. Target suffers 2 wounds instead of 1. Double knockdown. Sean extremely frustrated, but keeping it all on the inside.
Yeah.
Repressing those feelings.
Yeah. A hit and a wound by Ben's archer.
Lucky Charm is down, we've heard. Hopefully we can get someone taken out. Not
So,
bad.
Volpe the Hammerman has been knocked down, stunned by the shooting of Ben.
It's a little bit hard to see, but I think there are some models close enough to potentially take advantage of that. So,
Oh, now the blunderbuss is firing.
bit of a dispute at the moment as to whether or not a Lucky Charm is in effect.
But no, the Lucky Charm protects him from the blunderbuss.
Infinite Lucky Charms.
Very... No, never mind.
No, Jamie corrects himself after successfully arguing Sean down.
Schrodinger's Lucky Charm.
I'm
Both.
sure this isn't confusing at all for people playing along at home.
No, of course not. So it's a wound, knocked down by the blunderbuss.
Did he fail his initiative check, Jamie? No, he's okay.
He keeps his footing though, despite being knocked down.
Sean venting his frustration.
Silver arrows
in
of
spell
crap
form.
being...
Sean's customizing a camera shot to maximize what he hopes will be his moment of glory here. Give us a sec, he's setting us up the optimal shot for his
So
silver
here we go.
arrows.
There's
it
the
is.
wizard.
Sean,
Unleashing the silver
we've
arrows.
really been talking this up. Please roll high on the casting check. Fails.
Double ones. Okay, again on the building.
Roll me a 9 or a 10, Ben.
Can't see the other dice. Can't see the other dice. Oh.
Roll me a 6, Ben.
Ah, disappointing. All involved.
I mean, we're not biased. We support neither side over the other.
We support good commentary. I think.
Yeah, that's
a good.
We aspire to good commentary.
We want an entertaining game.
I've never played in a game where more than one wizard has had that spell at once, but I imagine if you had 2 or more, things could get hectic very, very quickly.
You'd need a lot of rubble. So we're getting a torch there, so we can see inside the building. We've got an ogre, and we've got a combat behind the camera. You know, you don't see enough games with atmospheric lighting, do you?
I think this is probably the first.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to agree with you.
A bit of mood lighting next time, perhaps.
Yeah, sure. Ogre time, Sean gleefully announces.
Now, I'm sorry,
It's hard to see Sean consistently get excited about stuff and then see those hopes immediately dashed as soon as he rolls the
But
dice.
see, we didn't do justice to this ogre previously. This ogre actually gained an extra wound in the advanced chart, and so he still has 2 left, despite losing 2 to the frenzied mob. We called him frail, and I'm afraid we were in air there.
He was disarmed, that's right.
So is this ogre on ogre battles? Ogre on ogre. Okay, you'd pay good money for this at home.
It's true, you normally pay extra for this sort of thing.
Yeah. Critical with
a bludgeoning or a bladed weapon?
Bludgeoning.
Bludgeoning weapon.
Ogre on ogre.
Alright, let's check and see what you got. A 2, that is hammered. The target is knocked off balance. Your opponent may not fight this turn if he hasn't fought already.
So
Result there.
Sean's ogre charges Will's, but Will smacks him first and concusses him, so he doesn't get his attacks.
Yep. I think he just sort of.
And he's down to 1 wound. He's down to 1
him
wound.
on the face.
And Will's ogre down to 2 wounds.
He's still got a great weapon, so Will's going to get to fight first again next turn. There's a real chance that Sean's super hard ogre with his 4 wounds is going to get taken out before he's able to do anything at all.
Yeah, and Will's ogre will be left with 2 wounds.
Ben scores a crit with a dagger. Bladed weapon, so no save.
Always a good one to get with a dagger. Dodge that plus on the save.
Yeah, I mean, the dagger adding the bonus to the armor class, you're right, it's definitely good if you're able to ignore that.
Yeah. Especially with the modification. And killed. But of course, the Mordheim we're playing, Gentleman's Mordheim, no negative to saves until you're strength 5.
Kinda gentler Mordheim.
Okay, yeah, indeed. Armorheim.
Bit of a dispute on how to resolve
a knockdown man. Trying to work out when he was knocked down.
Yeah, no roll. Starting to get on the cusp of some bottle tests, yeah. And given the luck of some players at the board, we can start to see the game take some pretty quick turns.
It will be interesting. The frenzied mob are wiped out. None remaining.
Every single frenzied mob is dead, is that right?
So no frenzied mob?
You'll be pleased to know that a blood gout has just knocked someone to the ground.
I'm happy. It's about time someone was knocked down by the spray of blood.
I'm happy that Sean remembered that without you reminding him.
Oh. Oh, and so Ben's fellow who killed one of Will's has fallen off the bridge after being sprayed by blood as well.
Love it. Is he dead, Ben?
Is this after killing Will's character? It is, isn't it?
May well be.
Oh, this is after killing the last frenzied mob.
He's face down.
Those buckets of blood have sent somebody flying.
Yikes. Bit of an unfortunate slip of the fingers there.
Yeah.
Wow. it's not going in Ben's favour just at this minute.
No. So with no frenzied mob,
And so Sean starts laughing.
that brings us to the end of turn 3.
So we're taking a brief break at the moment. With me is Sean.
Hello.
Sean, how do you feel the game's going so far for you?
I'm not going to lie, it's been very, very tedious. I keep forgetting to move my miniatures, and therefore they're not getting anywhere near combat. So
that's really not something that you're looking for in a game that's all about
ideally
moving,
not.
shooting, and then close combat. That's
Certainly
a third of the things, Sean.
It's a failure on my behalf, needless to say. On top of that, I did get some miniatures in some good positions, and of course Ben brought down that building. Being on the same side of Ben, of course, that wasn't ideal either. So
It did take me by surprise a little bit, just how much friendly fire he inflicted with that spell.
yeah, I wasn't all that impressed, to be perfectly honest. But hey, it's more time. So now, we're kind of just in a position where we don't know where we're going next.
It feels
I
quite
don't know
even
where
at
we're
this
going
point, I
next.
gotta say, Sean. You know, looking at it from our perspective, obviously both sides have taken losses. The ogres are heavily wounded and are about to get out. You know, I'm sort of, all of the frenzied peasants are down. There's no real positional advantage at the moment to speak of. So, is that how you feel as well, or?
I don't know where it's gonna go. I was hoping to knock off Will's ogre in that combat, so not being able to fight back was a serious pain.
Yep.
I think that would have given us a real benefit underneath
It
that
really
building.
was really incredibly unlucky for you, I've got to say.
Oh, you know, I completely expected it. Anyone out there who plays Mordheim, do not arm your ogres with two-handed weapons. That is a stupid decision. Give them two-hand weapons, an axe and a mace. Don't give them two-handed weapons. Ridiculous idea. Outrageous. So yes, I probably deserve that.
Looking back, I suppose you're locked into your item choice, though, based on
Yeah,
you know,
sadly.
we're pretty committed to WYSIWYG here in this gaming group, aren't we?
Yeah,
So,
very much so. At the end of the day, this game for us and this campaign is about the nice looking scenery and the miniatures. That's what it started the
well,
campaign.
and the story to some
So,
extent, like
yeah.
notwithstanding the fact that this scenario is literally called Ermagerd tickets or something to that effect. Look, Ben has done a tremendous job coming up with fluff and names for all of our scenarios. So I think everyone gets to be tired from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting now leading into the last game and to see it all come together over the past 13 games, the past 13 months almost of playing this campaign, because seeing as there's 4 of us, it's quite difficult to meet up quite regularly. But every scenario has built on the last, and it's all been leading up to that last scenario when the circus eventually arrives. So we'll be expecting lots of carnival, chaos, and nurgle stuff in our last game. Yeah,
Any
so
special models or scenery for people?
yeah, well, currently at the moment I am painting up a carnival kind of entrance gate. It's a couple of ticket boxes. We'll be using all of the tents that we've got here, and in addition, sorry, guys.
Just
Yes,
breaking into
please.
the
Yes.
commentary
So I'm just
portion.
making an intercept of my charge, and my blunderbuss marksman is intercepting a charge from who, Ben? One of Will's sword dudes. So. Oh, okay, he'd be able to take both of them. Yeah, you know, my captain will take both of them. So. Yep, awesome, we'll work over that. So I'll get. Which
Better
one
get
was
back there before he
Yeah, I'll
drops
get
another
back in
building
there.
on
It's
you,
been a
Sean.
pleasure. Thanks, guys. I'll hand back over to Sam.
I'm back. I've been arranging the cameras to get some good shots. Here we are. Okay, so, and this is the intercepting combat, where the head of the Bretonian warband has taken 2 charges. He's stepped up like a true Bretonian should, but perhaps not like a peasant should. Leading by example. And so it'll be interesting to see how that combat plays out. We might leave that camera there, so we can actually see what is going to happen. Back to the flying wizard soon. I'm looking forward to seeing one of these wizards do something. I don't know if that's optimistic.
It's a very hurtful comment.
Well,
They've flown a lot.
They have. They've flown back and
Arguably, their
forth.
game impact has been light.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's a flying wizard. Oh, what can we expect of him? A bit more flying. Okay. We are ready
Jamie
for
and Will
the
move.
wizards and their spells. Or shooting. Shooting. Straight into shooting.
Call it out, boys. Paint us a word picture. Will, double quick shot.
It's fancy man.
No wounds, sadly.
Hits but no wounds. The story of this game. That and exploding buildings.
You can do it, Will.
It's
Jamie calls
accurate
the shot.
halfling. Yep. The halfling hits with his bow. Halfling
Jamie
wounds.
scores wounds.
Nice. Hits,
Face
wounds, and stuns a warrior. Now that is a reliable halfling. Will, meanwhile, missing again. He needs more halflings, I think. So the Pathfinder, Barry perhaps? Barry, okay, we're going with Barry. Barry the Pathfinder, being named over the course of a shooting phase. Ben perhaps less than impressed. But being hit by an arrow, so perhaps not going to last long anyway.
So looking for 4 or higher.
Doesn't
Fails to
wound.
wound.
Good hit, a good hit. And now Barry wounded.
Unless she's toughness 6, yeah, that's definitely going to wound.
But a shield.
Or toughness 5, I should say. Ben missing the table. But he did it spectacularly, so we'll let him have it.
Ah, she's knocked down on top of the pathway.
So initiative test here, guys?
Yeah,
Or?
she's up there. So initiative test, but she was fine.
Okay.
Yep. Good for Ben, but bad for entertainment. Okay, there we go. Barry the Pathfinder.
He's totally okay with it. He's fine, whatever, guys. It's not even mad. Not even. Alright.
A frowning face.
Jamie looking for 3s on his to hit roll. Fails to wound, sadly, though. Trying to draw a line of sight, but he's struggling. Oh no,
Yeah.
he's picked one.
We also have Sean's leader in combat with Will's men.
Getting slightly out of sequence here. I guess the boys have just pushed on to get that resolved so that it doesn't chew into any additional time
Okay,
down the line. It's fair enough.
Sean's captain is down. The captain is down.
The captain, oh so confident, gets mugged by a couple of... Oh, he's got a lucky charm, so he negates one of the hits.
Never mind.
Never mind the fact that Sean completely forgot that and the model's already off the board.
Is that Sylvain de 4? Is this Captain Sylvain?
It's yeah, it is with the Grumroll armor.
Sylvain, yeah. And the chest wound. And the chest wound.
Sean, what's the last word? We've gone back and forth. Is the hero off the table or is he on? He did.
He is dead.
Fair enough.
Okay. He's gone. Ogre on ogre. Okay, Will's ogre coming in strong. One mace remaining. Disarmed previously. Critical wound.
6 with a bladed weapon or
Bludgeoning.
Bludgeoning 2. Then that's knocked out, unable to attack again.
And
Scores the same critical as in the last round. Bludgeoning 2, hammered.
so Will Zoga knocking the last wound off Sean Zoga and knocking him to the ground.
Yeah. I guess in this case, it's less important because he wouldn't have been able to attack anyways.
Yep.
But still, back-to-back identical criticals, that's not a very common thing to see.
So meanwhile, Jamie and Ben fighting it out, exchanging blows, knocking Lucky Charms back and forth. And so what would you consider playing? Were you to knock up a warband?
I reckon I would strongly look into pirates.
Yep. Yep.
I'd also strongly look into lizardmen. I just
yes.
love them. There's just something about, for me personally. Sean making the point that in the next scenario, the lizardmen will have access to the pirate inventory.
Oh man!
I look forward to seeing a bunch of skinks armed with swivel guns.
We have to see a skink with a captain's hat and a swivel gun.
A Croxagore armed with a telescope.
Oh, very nice.
And a parrot.
I like
What's not to love about that?
Yeah.
Or a skink dressed up as a parrot sitting on the shoulder of a Croxagore.
Yeah.
I think I just solved Mordheim with that brainstorm there, guys.
And we need a slan with one of those dressed up like the British Royal Navy officer.
Admiralty hat.
Yeah, with the big curly wig. Glorious. Yeah.
Sounds like a perfectly good way to destroy a slan, but I'm game.
Yeah.
Random happenings roll.
No random
fails
happenings.
again.
Still only won this game. Did we remember the exploding blood in that melee phase? Exploding blood in the last melee phase.
All good.
All good. See, this is why I'm here. To make the game take longer and be more painful for everybody involved.
I don't know. I mean, you are accelerating these combats by knocking people to the ground, or at least reminding them to knock
true.
models to the ground.
I could be. I'd like to think so.
A little pain now has a bit of a payoff later.
Yeah.
Just a gentle reminder now that the buildings are cleared, guys. Free XP.
Yeah, free XP for searching the building. And we still have 3 buildings unsearched, right?
That's right. The one that was blown up
Sorry,
was
2.
the one that had been searched.
2.
Oh, Jamie's taking care.
Jamie doing all the work here, searching the buildings.
It's a really hurtful comment to direct at Will.
Oh, well. Will pulling his weight with an ogre.
No, I agree. If Will didn't want us to make fun of him, he should play better.
Yeah, exactly.
We know you are, Will. I don't think you're able to crawl while you're face down anyways, are you? Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can get some cameras
Really is just
a
sort
bit more
of
into the action.
reflective of what I was talking about before with Sean. It's kind of no real tactical advantage possessed by either side here. There were kind of moments earlier in the game.
Alright, we're back in. Anti-Circus, turn 5.
Do we need to check for random happenings?
Random happenings, of course we do. Of course we do. It's a random happening!
No random happening. Come
What are we
on,
looking
some
at?
sort of meteor strike.
I have it here. So, hang on, we're going to switch to our dice camera. We'll get our dice camera up and we'll get our random happenings. We already have fountains of blood across Mordheim. And now we are looking at...
Green of the 10s.
54. Nothing but a flat dice counts for us. Last one standing. A Sigmarite matriarch emerges onto the battlefield. Having seen her entire warband cut down,
Suspiciously looking like one of Ben's dead models.
she comes in.
No
mad.
relation.
No, it's suspiciously looking like a demoness.
Looks a lot like a demonette of Slanesh.
Yeah.
Pure Sigmarite.
I think this is a Sigmarite matriarch in quotation marks.
Now, where does she appear?
So same as all randomly occurring characters, I think we roll a scatter. She knows 2 prayers, randomly casting 1 on herself each turn. And she has the skills Absolute Faith, Jump Up, and Step Aside. She moves as quickly as possible towards the nearest enemy model, and in her rage, possibly a Slanesh-related rage, looking at her, she attacks the nearest model.
She's a beast.
So, does she act immediately? So she casts a spell on herself randomly? Either Hammer of Sigmar or Armor of Righteousness?
Come on, Hammer Sigma.
That one, so
That's
she fails.
not the result we were looking for.
So she's packing Absolute Faith, Jump Up, and Step Aside.
Jamie declaring a charge against the model that resoundingly defended itself against multiple attackers in the last round with multiple parries. Lots of 6s coming out of Ben there. Jamie's looking at a charge in the middle of the board. Trying to declare charges. Should be workable. Jamie's just declaring some risky charges here. He's not 100% sure as to whether they're in range, but he's confident enough to at least give it a go. Takes his and passes to Jamie. Were those initiative tests you were taking there, mate, in order to fear checks, of course? Ben's listing a bevy of disgusting conditions that his character possesses.
It's a lot of them. There are a lot of injuries and skills.
Turns out Jamie was worried over nothing. He's got plenty of range. Re-engaging the drunken parier once more. Knocking models over in the process. Standard movement phase starts. Jamie just mentioning that he's a bit concerned about not really having any advantage in terms of the positioning of his models at the moment. He's worried that a good round of shooting could do a lot of damage.
Well, he's only got 1 more model before a rout test.
That's right. And we should make the point as well for those who've noticed that Will and Sean have both disappeared. They've had to take off.
Yes.
A little bit late where we're recording this, but that's okay. We've still got one player on each side, so they've just assumed control of each other's warbands.
The game continuing in their absence.
It's a huge melee combat going on down there, isn't
It's
it?
enormous, isn't it? It's one of those good ones. I can't wait to see a Fountain of Blood and then characters knocked over. Or a bloodletter occurring nearby and charging towards the combat would be good fun. Bloodthirster as well, but unlikely.
Alright, so we're moving into the shooting phase now, I think. Alright. One last recovery on the wizard. Moves forward. I guess a good thing about the fly spell is you have so much additional mobility when you recover. You're really able to get yourself out of harm's way.
Yeah, you do.
There's some interesting combinations there, given that we're opening up weapon options in subsequent campaigns, giving some sort of pirate weaponry to wizards.
Fly
Fly in, fly out.
Flying with a swivel gun.
Not bad.
Nothing safer.
Not bad.
Be a hell of a thing. Dual wielding blunderbuss as you fly through the sky.
Ben describing pirate weapons plus fly as a form of rocket jumping.
So picking a shot.
Jamie's got a brilliant line of sight here. We're going to try and get you a shot of it. Might not be possible to actually maneuver the camera in there. It's that tight.
It might not be a possible shot. So somewhere through there.
We can just see the outline. Of
Jamie has a shot.
Archway there. There he is, brought into light.
Whoa, we're coming in here. Odd little angle. Can we see Jamie's archer? Can we just tap the archer, Jamie? Yeah, there he is! Oh, we got him! Now that's the kind of thing you only get here at the Circus is Coming. Nowhere else do you get that kind of dynamic camera action.
Slash model smashing.
Slash model smashing.
Ignores cover. Brilliant.
So threes!
After all that build up.
After all that he misses.
Great. Scores a hit with his second shot.
Hits but doesn't wound.
Tough beat. It happens though.
It does. So a hit on Barry from one of Will's archers in Will's absence.
Jamie just checking Will's character sheet in order to figure out.
Never mind, it was a miss. Will giving everything to a man of ballistic skill 2.
Scores a hit. Not bad. There's a wound there. Is it cold? Ben's happy to go with it. Face down. Passes her initiative test though, unfortunately. At least for Jamie anyways. For cover. So we're looking at a 6 here. Jamie fails to hit, unfortunately.
A miss from Will's henchman crossbowman. His crossbow's being a bit not so accurate today.
These are pretty difficult shots.
They are.
I think you're right though. They were missing some gimmies earlier.
Yeah. So 2's at long range. Here we go. Can't miss. Can't miss, can it? 2's.
Not
Does
bad.
indeed hit.
What's his toughness?
No wounds. 2's unlikely to be a wound from a bow. A second shot does wound. And knocks down. Not in a position where he's going to fall off though. But a good shot, and perhaps someone who just stand up again. Is this a blunderbuss that's fired? Ah, never mind. So okay, Terror, here we go. The wizard doing something other than flying. Fails.
Fails to summon enough power to cast a spell.
Yep. So we have 2 wizards, both with fly and both with terror. Just checking to see how we cast Terror of Arnor and where it is in the rules. Terror of Arnor. You mean Dread of Aramar? Difficulty 7.
Terror of Arnor has a real Lord of the Rings feel to it.
Yeah. Dread of Armor. Different spell. Combat. combat indeed. So let's have a look at this mess of a combat over here on our red camera.
Jamie clearly getting a little bit tired.
Tired of the parry.
Identifies the model that's parrying really well and goes, you know what? More bodies will solve this, Sam.
It's a wound on him, so maybe he's right. Two's knocked him down.
These halberdiers really are terrifying.
They are.
They're as proficient as some heroes would be happy to be, I've got to
Yeah.
say.
Oh, 2 hits at strength 5 is a hell of a blow, especially for a knockdown character. No wonder he's out of action. It's tougher than an ogre.
So they're matched in terms of their initiative. Jamie with a single attack, Ben also with 1.
So Ben hitting twice on 6s, no opportunity for parry. A critical hit with the spear at 3,
Thrust.
which thrust.
Great force, the target is knocked down. Take armor saves as normal.
So a critical hit with the spear thrusts him to the ground, but he does hit at the same time. And a critical hit in return. So as 1 spears him.
5 of the bladed weapon is sliced. The strike ignores armor and adds +2 to any injury rolls.
So as 1 is thrusted to the ground with the spear, the other slices him and takes him straight out of action.
Yeah, it's quite the death blow.
It's a brutal combat, back and forth, back and forth. So ogre on ogre. So Will's ogre jumping in with 1 attack, with 1 mace. 1 mace with 2 attacks. And so Will's ogre missing in his absence.
Sean's ogre gets to attack back.
1 hit of a great weapon.
Scores 2 hits.
2
2
hits.
to wound.
2.
Strength 6. Paying off.
2 wounds.
You have no wounds left now, so you're down to
No
a single
wounds.
wound left standing on Will's ogre. So roll
2
to injure
rolls.
twice. Sean's ogre triumphs in his absence.
Finally beats Will's. And neither of them here to see it. I think we're nearly in the territory where everyone's taking route checks.
I think we are. Lucky Charm discounting the first hit there. Jamie and Ben just trying to work out the interaction between weapon skill, foul odor,
And resilient.
strike to injure, resilience.
Yeah, resilient. A lot of stuff interplaying.
I think as we said in our last cast, I certainly don't often see warbands that have this much experience.
Oh
in
no, it's really
practicing
rare, isn't it?
these
Yeah,
skills.
yeah. You know, normally you play a couple of games of Warband and then get bored of them. It's a nice thing about a narrative campaign, that encouragement to keep playing and keep sticking with it. And you see that amount of experience come out in a long campaign. You know, 12 games now, 13, sorry, is a long time to spend with a warband.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to start to max people out after that many games, isn't it?
If they survive.
Yeah,
we
that's
can ask Will that next time. The pain of losing all your original miniatures bar 1.
Ben takes a model out of action with that attack as we're chatting away idly, I should say, but misses with his second attack.
Right. So Jamie here attacking Ben's murderous wizard, who's knocking buildings down left and right, or just once, I should say, but aiming to do it again, I'm sure. Jamie shooting the wizard on the ground and taking him out of action, finishing off that wizard. This is for the white building. Or maybe it's the Bad Boys ending where the wizard's getting back up to destroy another building and he turns around and shoots him with the pistol.
Potentially, mate. I think that is the end of that combat.
End
A
of
lot
combat.
happened there, I've got to say. I think we're probably going to be looking at route tests.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
At least one route test here, right, Ben?
A route test certainly for Sean in absentia.
What are we looking for? Can we get a dice cam going on the route test? We are ready to go. Route test. What are we looking for? 7 or 8 or less? 8 or less. 7.
Disappointing. In a way.
I'm sure Ben appreciates your support.
So that's Ben's route. Sean's still safe. Yeah. And now random happening. Well, I've got the dice cam up. Didn't see it. Just not worth it.
I'm still, I want to see if this Sigmarite Maiden gets anything done.
Oh yeah, of course. At the start of the turn, isn't it?
Yep.
We'll move the Sigmarite matriarch in quotation marks.
Oh, not Maiden, sorry, excuse me, Matriarch.
Matriarch.
She needs to cast a spell on herself
Yeah.
randomly.
So
at the start of
randomly cast a spell. Arm of Righteousness, perhaps this turn. Cast. So whatever that spell does, she's cast it. We'll look it up if it ever becomes important.
Now, is she actually in combat off of that? We're not quite able to see from where we're
So
sitting.
she.
Oh,
So
okay, so she's just
I
moved forward
dare
again.
say the spell ends at the start of her next turn, but we'll check while they're doing their thing. Yes, indeed. Causes fear and a bit of protection from shooting, but ends at the beginning of her next turn. So unless somebody chooses to shoot at her and makes me look it up again, it won't come up.
And calls a charge with the ogre.
Yeah, fresh. Oh, now did that ogre take a strength check for killing the other ogre? Yes, indeed. So that ogre needs to fall down. So the ogre was actually knocked down last turn by the fountain of blood from killing the other ogre.
Well, it was a hell of a kill.
It was a great kill. It was a great. You think, great weapon on the ogre. That's got to be a lot of blood.
Sure.
Korn is happy to
If
go.
we're looking for fluff justifications, I think we found one.
Always. Look, it's a narrative campaign. We need to get into the fluff of it as well. Some more charges. Some more charges. Everyone's singling off, finding their dance partner.
So I think we're really just getting down to some very fiddly combat at this point.
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of been foreshadowing this for a few turns now, but the game has kind of collapsed from...
From shooting at frenzied mob
That's
to
right.
a full-on brawl across the
To
battlefield.
the extent that there was strategy in the drafting of lists, I'm not sure, but in terms of tactically, there hasn't been an advantage for either side for quite some time, and
No.
had nothing for it but to sort of mash our fighters together and see who comes out on top.
The two ogres fighting, of course, being the epitome of this.
I think,
Charging in and smashing each other back and forth under the buildings.
I mean, that ogre does have a chance of... It's alright, we will bring up the warband list for you, Ben, on the...
We've got it here. So one of the small men falling from the building, but
Lemage.
remaining safe.
Second model passes its initiative test.
Good. And the dog leaps down some 12 feet, landing safely.
All in a day's work.
Yeah. It rolled the landing.
Yeah, I mean, I see dogs climbing and jumping out of buildings all the time.
Yeah, of course. Ben making a pun that demands no repeat.
Ben moving into the shooting phase. It is interesting, you know, obviously they've been playing with partners for the whole game, but both players still just coming to grips with the new models and the new positions that the models are occupying since their partners have left.
I think we can just get a look at him, yeah. So Clement again, firing into the wizard.
Fails to wound on a 1. We've got a wound. Takes his target out of action. Great to see on shooting attacks. Ben getting ready to shoot. Ballistic skill 4 with a bow, scores a hit. Critical wound. 3, so ricochet. Is there another target within 6 inches? Looks like there is. Fails to wound sadly on the ricochet. 1, face up. Just Ben just clarifying the order of events here for Jamie. Jamie checking to see if there's a lucky charm or any other salient detail in this model that he needs to pay attention to.
There is a lucky charm. A lucky
Jamie
charm.
discovers it was actually a lucky charm that comes into play.
Just checking all the pockets while the arrow flies towards him. Do I have anything to stop this?
Apparently that is one of the last lucky charms in Jamie's warband.
Yes, about time. But of course, we'll
Ben taking a shot at Will's hero. Yeah,
Yeah.
about time, I agree.
they'll buy them all back, and we'll have to deal with all the lucky charms again next game, I bet. 2 wounds for another archer. On Will's champion in his absence again. Knocked down. Stunned.
Master shot there.
Master shot critical. Very nice.
-1 for moving. Scores a hit. Wounds. Stuns his target.
Another stunned. Ben, full of puns today. Slight interruption as a cat enters the match.
-1 at long range as Ben's lining up a shot at a halfling. Halfling models, I think we said this in the last game. Really appreciate halfling models because
Yeah,
in a game where there's true line of sight, it's so much easier to hide smaller
It's
models. than
fantastic,
these bigger
isn't it?
models.
and you rather just build your whole warband crouching, you can take advantage of that wall high cover. Have you seen that in 40k? People modelling the Wraith Knight crouching to take
have seen
advantage of
that.
that. It's a dirty tactic, isn't it? It doesn't even look good crouching. Three
Silver
hits.
arrow here, scoring 3 hits.
Nice. 3 hits, 2 wounds. That kill it.
Spell is really devastating there.
It's a
I think that's
yeah. So
Ben
you're doing
pointing to positive mental attitude
Absolutely.
as his secret to his success, which we all know is a blatant lie coming from Ben.
Yeah. But you got to admit
Mr.
the
Grouchy Pants,
calling it the silver arrows of crap probably wasn't helping anybody.
yeah, arguably also has a point there. Bit of a stomp on a face down model in combat there.
Hmm.
Got to appreciate that efficiency in a game that's been going for an hour.
Always a hard thing to play with a warband that's not your own as well.
Yeah, I think they're both doing really well to stay on top of everything that
Absolutely.
they have to.
Yeah. Inheriting half-dead warbands has got to be challenging.
Okay, so he literally just has a dagger.
Oh, what?
I get. Did he get robbed at some stage? He must have a strong man with a dagger anyway.
I think he was sold to the slave pits, Ben,
Ah, yeah.
in the previous game. Lining up the, there we go. No wound.
Well, probably 3. No, 4.
So, halberds will hit you twice.
Jamie scores 2 hits with his strength 5 halberdier.
These vicious halberdiers. 3s to wound.
Yep. The 2 hits, strength 5. 1 wound.
1 wound. But
Ben steps aside.
Ben manages to dodge it.
It's a great ability.
It's a nice one. It's a very nice one.
Yep. 2 wounds. That'll do it. Down and stunned.
Knocked face down from that.
Face down into the pool of water.
Oh. Any fountains of blood? No, fountains
Not
of
as
blood.
yet, Sam.
No.
Over here there'll be a fountain of blood.
Oh yeah, there was one.
Fails his strength test, knocked down by the fountain
Yeah,
of
for
blood.
finishing off a stunned combatant. Even then, fountain of blood.
Over here,
So the Axemen and Morning would have fighting first, I think. Is that right?
against the Youngblood with 2 hammers. Weapon skill 3.
They've just got axes and daggers, and that's it.
Okay.
Standard boots. So axe and black on the halberdier.
Knitting 3s, Ben?
Oh, yeah.
Knitting
Force
4s.
to hit. 1 hit. 1 hit but no wounds.
Here will fight back then. Halberdier hits you once. Weapon skill of your guys. Sorry, weapon skill 4.
1,
Jamie scores 1 hit. 2 to wound, I think.
2 hits.
2 hits
Oh,
from
2
the
hits,
halberdier. 2
excuse
hits
me.
from the halberdier.
2's to wound.
2 wounds, 1 of the critical.
1 critical wound from the bladed halberdier.
Now, are halberds thrusting weapons or bladed weapons?
Thrust?
I'm not sure.
I guess it could go either.
Maybe they're double-handed. Halberds, they are thrusting. Sorry, so what?
3 on a thrusting.
3 on a thrust is knocked down.
Knocked down.
2 wounds to it.
Yeah.
It's 5 and a 2. Dead.
Ah, so that halberd turning the Axeman into an X-Man.
Oh, Sam.
I was planning that one.
Yeah, you came up with that one earlier this morning while you were
I
shaving,
did,
didn't you?
I did, yeah. Shaving.
2 into 1 plus 2 injury rolls. Stab in the back, I think, is the technical term.
Yeah. Yeah, plus 2. Yeah, 5 out.
So, kills in both
And
sides.
landing a
And now,
deadly blow with a dagger.
Strength checks for explosions of blood. Failing.
Halberdier. No, he's fine.
So the halberdier, the only one remaining standing as explosions of blood litter the walkway. We're on into turn 6, and we've got route tests. Yep, both for Jamie and Will. Starting with Will's warband, leadership 7.
So 8 or higher and they're gone.
We've got a
Or
6. Double
They're out.
sixes! Will is out of here officially, in every sense of the way. Out of the room and off the table. And now Jamie's warband, being left in the lurch.
3.
3.
They're okay.
6 round.
They're still into it.
So Jamie's still here, toughing it out.
Left, but that crossbowman right there.
Now on the other side of the table, Sean doesn't have to route check yet.
Yeah, he's lost 2 models, I think Ben was saying
Yeah,
before, so
yeah.
still 2 more before he's in route check territory.
So Ben's rolling,
Having a
but
bit of a charmed life this game. See those models?
a lucky charmed life.
Oh, God.
You set me up for that one.
Yeah, I did.
You've got
and
no
I
one,
regret
no
it.
one to blame but
I
yourself.
regret it.
Yeah. When I see a low-hanging fruit,
Pluck it.
pluck it.
Okay. Well, that leaves me severely depleted.
Jamie's forces have been decimated by that rout check.
Yeah, so no support from Will.
Jamie, I strongly support the proposed diving charge.
Absolutely.
The bonus on strength, it'll be enormous. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's multiple initiative checks.
It might be
but
3 or 4, but
do it for the story. You
2
got this,
initiative
man.
checks. That's a
You
good
got
chance.
this.
You have a pretty good chance of passing.
You have a 1 in 3 shot of passing.
Let's get a camera on that, shall we?
Alright, fine. Diving charge on the big guy.
So we have a diving charge from up here.
With twin daggers.
Twin daggers. So we can see the diving charge now, and we're going to flick over to our dice cam, as we need 2 initiative tests on a 4. Let's see how we go.
Nailed it.
1 pass. So he's halfway down.
He
And
succeeds.
a success. So he makes it all the way down.
Yes!
Twin daggers to save Volpe.
So what's that? 6 inches vertical added to the 4 inches.
4 inches vertical.
Wins himself a significant bonus there by passing both those tests.
I don't have any more charges, I've got no more men left. So, fine.
It's a quick turn here from Jamie.
Quick, easy turn.
Alright.
Into the shooting phase.
To support his system.
Soon into the shooting phase.
I must admit, diving charges are extremely rare in my experience anyway.
Oh,
for
yeah.
non-Skaven warbands.
Yep.
I see halflings do them from time to time, but
Oof. I've seen zombies do
diving
them.
charge really is a trademark Skaven move. in
Yeah,
my view.
zombies are quite good at it, because you got the mass and you don't care what happens.
Yeah, sure, okay.
And that plus onto wound is nice for zombies.
I guess vampires wouldn't be bad at it, but it's a pretty high risk play with a vampire.
It is, yeah. It's not something you want to take out of action too early.
Yeah.
Even losing a wound for a vampire kind of cripples you. Rulebook.
Consulting the rules on diving charges.
No, on a man that's knocked down.
Yep.
Crawling from combat.
For a hero that's knocked down, can they crawl from combat if the other model is engaged? I believe so, but we'll get a firm ruling for you. Confirmed.
Crawling away
It
from
is
combat.
amazing how this stuff sticks in your brain, even if you read it like 10 years ago.
Admittedly, you don't see the crawling out of combat very much.
No, it's quite rare.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that Mordheim's rules are specific enough to anticipate that sort of a scenario.
Yeah, I think we can call it the coward's charge.
The coward's charge, the reverse charge.
Yeah. The anti-brave.
Yep. Jamie sizing up some line of sight. Sounds like he's got a couple of shots that he's excited about, and I've got to say, I'm glad because Jamie had a rough go of it this last round.
He did. Losing that route check on Will's half of the warband is pretty punishing.
Yeah, I think he's definitely circling the drain at this point. But Ben rolls a couple of 6s. Who knows?
Yeah, well, Ben could lose his warband, leaving him only with Sean's there. Who's
Yeah,
not on route test.
Sean's essentially
But I think
undepleted.
Sean only one casualty from a route
Oh yeah,
test.
but he's taken the wounds on the ogre, which I guess counts to some extent.
Yes.
Obviously not towards route check. But
No, but it is a model that's easy to lose now.
yeah, that's right.
No, and we've got to think about what leadership there is on the board as well. I don't think the Bretonnian peasants having a
Yeah, they're not a
large
high
leadership
leadership
across the board.
warband.
Leadership 9, never mind, they are.
Jamie's about to put a stop to that though.
Let's take out the leadership 9 model and force Sean into a route check on a lower leadership. So this reliable halfling taking his twin shots. But the reliable halfling missing.
I'm going to take 2 shots at Elga over there. So need 2s normally, 3s long range.
Jamie looking at 3s.
Hits,
Scores a hit this time around.
wounds,
A hit and a wound.
out of action.
And out of action.
Out of action with a shot.
Very nice.
1 or 2 more like that, and Jamie might be able to claw his way back into the game.
Except that was one of Ben's models and not one of Sean's.
Second shot against
Bury the
Barry
Pathfinder.
the Pathfinder.
Taking an arrow. Hit
I
some
regret
wounds.
that name is stuck. Knockdown.
Knocked down. And now she's taking the initiative test to fall. She hasn't left that pathway in a number of turns, actually.
Yeah, right.
She keeps getting knocked down.
Fails her initiative test.
Now
this
she
time.
falls. Now she... Well, I guess she's finally left the pathway.
Yeah, one way or the other. One wound from the fall. Out of action.
There she goes. There she goes. There
Jamie's got to feel good about
she
his shooting
goes.
phase.
There she goes. Again, I'm out of tune, so it's not infringement of copyright. Alright, trying to take out the silver arrows spewing forth from this wizard. A very good hit, but no wound. Another hit on the wizard, 2
He's
arrows
doing this backwards.
hitting home. 2 hits, but no wounds.
Alright.
Into combat. Diving charge here. Well, we've got it up on cam. Let's give it a go. Just save the hammer man. Weapon skill 4. Apologizes for the blurry camera. We're about a bit out of focus here, but you get the idea. 1 hit with the diving charge.
Strength a billion. I think it's just strength, not to hit roll.
Oh, that's plus 1 to wound.
To the rulebook.
To the rulebook, diving charges. They never happen, so it's a very rare thing.
My friends and I only diving charge. Our games are very quick.
Wouldn't it be great to have like a Judge Dredd style massive building, and you all start at the top and just diving charge your way down bit by bit?
Yeah, you could generate a lot of experience in Weirdstone for yourself very quickly.
You could. Plus 1 to hit, and plus 1 strength. So it was 2 hits. And you're at plus 1 strength though.
So I'm at strength 4 then now with this.
Strength 4 with the daggers.
4? No, 3.
So 3's to wound with 2 hits.
2 wounds.
2
Double wound by
wounds
Jamie.
with the daggers off the diving charge. That is a save though, because they're daggers.
Yeah.
No saves.
Failed. And now...
Out.
Out of
Out of
action! What a diving charge!
They questioned it and they were wrong.
Running
It
down
was
the
a
ramp,
brilliant play.
leaping from there with twin daggers to save Volpe the Hammerman.
Never a chance of failing horribly.
A great moments in Mordheim. We get them, don't we?
From there. We're at the same initiative. Great.
The 2 characters now kind of facing off on the camera there. A lot of respect passing between them.
5, so
Mordheim's all about respect, of course.
It is, it is.
twice.
Gentleman's Mordheim.
Ben's going to try and
Step aside.
step aside.
If you don't, you're not down. Oh dear.
At the same time, that's 2 hits.
Yep.
Scores 2 counter hits.
And the critical.
Double wounds.
Critical with the axe.
Critical axe wound.
2 wounds instead of 1. No, just no saves.
Are you took
Axe.
2 wounds? Oh, 1 wound, no saves.
Yeah, those are 2 of them. 3 and so stunned.
So we're both face up, and well, I'm face up, you're face down. Excellent.
Oh, so unfortunately Jamie's face down. Ben's only knocked down, which means Ben's going to stand up in his turn, and then Jamie's out of action
Yep.
on that model, unless Ben routs.
Oh, sorry.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sean,
Sigma
Sean's in a
Matriarch
rout.
charges the blunderbuss. She's got to cast a spell. Hammer of Sigma.
Hammer Sigma.
Yep. So that's. I don't
Hammer of Sigma
know.
is going to give a +2.
Stats.
She's a Sigma matriarch as per the rules for Sisters of Sigma, and she's packing absolute faith, jump up, step aside, and two Sigmarite, a steel whip and a Sigmarite hammer wearing heavy armor and a helm.
So whip hammer plus whatever.
And she's got Hammer of Sigma, so she's got +2 strength. In hand to combat, and all hits he inflicts cause double damage, e.g. 2 wounds instead of 1.
Okay, so
Is it one attack base? One attack base for a matriarch?
one critical hit with the hammer.
Yep.
And a wound with the whip.
A critical hit with the hammer.
Crit is a 3, so that disarms him.
3 on a bludgeon is a nil armor saves and 7 nil armor saves.
Matriarchs have 1.
And each one has 2 wounds.
2 wounds. So no wounds. He did.
So the crazed matriarch comes in and smashes the character to the ground. One of the Bretonian peasants, ex-peasants.
Yeah, the blunderbuss.
Smeared on the ground.
So
It's a pretty fun spell.
let's get up
I
our
was really
dice
hoping that
camera.
one was going to be in play.
We'll come to the dice camera. Now we're looking at rout checks for both Ben and for Sean.
Sean's route is now
And Sean's leadership.
so leadership 7 for Sean.
Turn 6.
7 for Sean.
Leadership 7. Here we go. And he's
Fails.
gone. And he's gone. And now Ben, leadership.
This could be the end of the game right here.
Leadership 7. 5. And what's the other one? We can't see the other dice. We can see them shaking hands though. So it's
It's out!
gone. It's a 6!
Jamie wins!
Well, number 3.
Number 3, third victory of 13 games goes to Anti-Circus. I don't know about you, Peter, but I'm exhausted.
That was absolutely wrenching.
That was.
Yeah.
That was a
Just a
brutal game.
slugfest. Absolutely. No
Crazy.
strategy, no tactics.
Yeah.
Just punching.
Punching and smashing and lots of blood
But
everywhere.
hey, look, thanks for following along for us and for listening along to this broadcast again. And I should say as well, we haven't mentioned it before, thank you to everyone who provided support and feedback to us for the first recording that we did.
Absolutely.
Particularly people who helped out with some of the sound issues that we've been working with.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep working on the interface and continuing to make improvements. So if you've
Yeah.
got anything constructive and helpful to say to us, please let us know.
But yeah, thank you. I've been Sam.
Yep, and I'm Pete.
And the circus is coming. Next game.
Final match. See you then.
Bye.